I'm Miss Crawley here with some information about GCSE Modern Languages at St Peter's. We follow the AQA scheme and assessment, whether this is your core language or whether you're doing an additional language which you've chosen as your option. Here are the key skills that you will develop and be assessed on at GCSE. You'll recognise reading, listening, writing and speaking from your languages experience so far. And in addition to building your grammatical knowledge and learning plenty of new vocabulary, you may be interested to see on there translation skills and dealing with authentic texts, which may be in the form of poems or short excerpts from literature. It's worth, when you're thinking, if you're thinking about choosing a language as an option, so in addition to your core language, it's worth thinking about how the exam setup is exactly the same for both, and learning more than one language actually complements each other in terms of the reinforcement of these skills, and this experience will be mutually beneficial in terms of the structures, words and ways of learning, rather than a hindrance as you might first think. It's also worth pointing out that by learning an MFL at school, such as French, German, Spanish, you'll find it easier to learn other languages, more challenging languages in the future, such as Arabic, Russian, Japanese or Mandarin. You've already spoken with your languages teacher about the benefits, skills and attitudes that you develop by learning a modern language. And these are all things to bear in mind when thinking about choosing an MFL at GCSE. At school. So there are three main topic areas that you'll study. Some of these will be new to you. Some of them will be building upon language that's already familiar to you from what you've already studied at school. Okay, just an overview. I won't read these out if you have a quick look through. So under identity and culture, you'll find the following topics. Under local, national, international and global areas of interest, you'll find these topics. And under current and future study and employment, you will find these topics. We follow 9-to-1 grading, with 9 being the highest grade that you can achieve, all the way down to FG, an old FG grade, which is a 1. Okay, looking at the papers then. So on the higher listening paper, it's 45 minutes long and you get 5 minutes reading time with a mix of questions in English and questions in MFL. These are all question types that you'll be prepared for in lesson time, and it'll be familiar language across a range of specified subjects. You'll have to do things like identify their overall message, key points, pick out key points and details and opinions. Maybe some more complex language, recognising the relationship between past, present and future events, deducing meaning from longer spoken texts. There'll be a real mix there, all of which you'll be prepared for in lessons. You hear each item twice and you can make notes. The speaking, again, you'll be prepared for all of these scenarios in lessons, and involves a role play, a photo card and a general conversation. The general conversation you pick, you will have two themes to talk about. One of them is selected by you, so your favourite theme, and the other is at random by the exam board. The good news is that this is carried out with your teacher and it's just recorded and sent off to the exam board. The reading paper, again, a mix of questions in English, in your MFL, your French, German or Spanish, and a translation into English. And the writing has 3 questions, the higher writing. First one worth 16 marks, the second worth 32 marks. These are your creative pieces where you're showing off the huge variety of language that you've learned throughout the course, and then there'll be a translation into your language. So if you want any more information about this, just speak to your class teacher. So how will you learn? There'll be lots of varied opportunities for listening, reading, speaking and writing in class and homework. A mix of independent and teacher-led learning opportunities, and you know from your experience of remote learning that your opportunities for independent learning have actually grown during this time. There'll be grammar games and exercises, vocabulary learning games and tests, translation from and into the MFL, which is quite a new thing for a lot of you. You'll learn about the different cultures in the countries where the language you are learning is spoken. You'll have sessions with our foreign language assistants. You'll have contact with authentic resources and opportunities to take part in national competitions which come up in languages. And finally, information that you might be interested to know, that all exams, it's a linear exam, so all exams take place at the end of the fifth form. All exams have to be taken in the same tier, and almost all of our pupils will sit the higher exam. All exams will cover any of the 3 topics covered during the course, and they will make reference to the country or countries where the language is spoken, and no dictionaries allowed in the exams. However, you'll become familiar with using a dictionary during the course. Okay, any questions, please see your class teacher, and I hope you found that useful, and thinking as well, not just about language as your core subject, but perhaps as an option as a second language.